Hi, and thank you for joining me on TargetedWest.com. This is DJ Chris, your moderator, and it is Sunday, the 2nd of April, 2023. I'm here in beautiful Lodi, California, and we are a work group that studies the Fourth Industrial Revolution. I'm not violent or spew out violence, and my crowd is not violent. We're a work group that studies technology, and that's it. The opinions of the people that come into the call are their own and not that of me or Targeted West. So thank you for joining. It is now 59 degrees. It's going to be in the 70s next week, so I can start grounding again, which is important for health, and I do it when the weather's okay. Anyway, I'm here for this call and to help you figure out why we're all getting these terrorists in our head. They're talking to us, and I have them, and I'm just an old man in the middle trying to figure it out. Anyway, today's topic on show number 53 is functional, that's small f, capital MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, that's used a lot for checking out your brain and seeing if you've got any tumors or any issues or implants. And it's also used with AI now in an experiment in, I think it was China or Japan, where these two scientists have actually been able to use the fMRI to read your mind and duplicate what you see in a picture. They had a picture of a fire truck, and then you saw the mind's eye of it, which was breathtaking. You saw some grass out in the field, and then you saw the brain's image of it, which was a little bit different. And everybody's image was a little different, but they were all the same. So this is scary. And then the technology was moved forward to the United States, and it's at a college right now where they're actually able to extract words and phrases out of your brain using fMRI. So that's some scary stuff I thought I'd share with you. Now, are they using that remotely with us now? I'm not sure if they are or not, because that has to be done close by, because you can't have a magnetic resonance go remotely. So I don't think they do that, but they have other technologies like using the maser and quantum entanglement, which is what I believe is what some of this is. Anyway, if you're watching me on BitChute or YouTube, which is going gangbusters, or you've seen me at archive.org for posterity, we're here every Sunday. So watch the video, enjoy it, and please make a comment, like, and subscribe on either BitChute or YouTube, and make a comment on archive.org, where I'm under TI Club 3. That is my moniker for the book club, TI Book Club, and that's my moniker and handle for Twitter. So all these articles, like this one I'm talking about right now, which is an NBC News article from 3/23 of 20 through 25 of 23, and it's the AI-based fMRI video from NBC News, and it's about brain tech companies. Apparently, there are a multitude of this new jargon, this new phrase, brain tech companies. So now they're all in competition to read your mind and have you hooked up to the computer you're using in BCI. And so this article is available on Twitter for you to read, so check it out. You'll be shocked. You'll really be blown away by that. So that's our main topic tonight. If you want to discuss that in the chat, it's a Sunday call. Then again, that small f, and then MRI, capital MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. Next topic, if the chat room's popping up. If Chris is here, I think Chris is my guest today. We'll be with you in just a little bit as soon as we open the mic. And then if Shiloh is here. I think she will be here to comment on the Restrict Act, which is an internet act that you want to know about. Next is the eBay stalking video I posted from 60 Minutes on Twitter, TI Club 3, and it's a shocker. And they put a pig's fetus in a box and send it. They send a pig's mask from a horror movie. They send hundreds of death threats and evil things. They send a book about the death of your spouse and how to cope with it. They were at eBay Security, and the group there, including the executives, were plotting to destroy these people. And all they were doing was giving fair reviews of e-commerce sites, including eBay. It wasn't just eBay they were reporting on, it was e-commerce sites. And eBay didn't like the negative comments and decided to go after them. And one executive literally rented a car and was following the couple around, and just so happens I got a picture of the plate. And they also sent, it's just so disgusting, you're going to be sick. When I tell you the connection between me and my targeting, you're going to be blown. You're going to be so blown away. These pigs, these former police officers for the Santa Clara Police Department, not the Santa Clara County Sheriff, but the Santa Clara Police Department, were upgraded to security level at eBay and quit their jobs at the police department because they paid more at eBay during the height of eBay before it fell apart and it's crap now. They sent a wreath to the family, a death wreath for a funeral, and they weren't smart enough, and they were able to contact the place where they sent the flowers, and they were able to get who sent them. And they got the name of the lady that sent them, and they got the name of the lady who was the same lady who was an eBay executive of the car rental that she rented, that she drove behind them, following them around. So she was busted, and now they're all serving sentences. And let me quickly tell you that this connection between me and eBay is that I was targeted by the Santa Clara police when I lived there during my initial targeting with the Santa Clara County Sheriff, and they used the X-ray van on me, so I know they were involved in it. They ended up being executives at eBay. Isn't that a weird connection? Next is, I hope you're doing well. The chat room's popping. Very good. And I checked that Krista suggested, and Laura, that in our TI moderators meeting that we check the chat room. So I make sure I look over there. Matter of fact, I'm going to make the screen a little bit bigger. Anyway, next is sanctuary.ai. Go check that website out. They're the future in AI, and that's Jordy Rose from D-Wave. And D-Wave possibly makes wet and warm qubite, human qubite, and qubite quantum computer physics type devices and chips that are part of the D-Wave system, where he had started in Canada. He went off to start Sanctuary AI, and that's where the AI is coming from, and it's advanced AI. This is, he's calling it general AI, but I would call it super AI. There's differences. There's 3 different levels of AI. There's narrow AI, there's general AI, and there's super AI. So I'm quite sure that Jordy Rose is involved in the super chatterbot AI systems that are tormenting people in many ways, not only just the way we get targeted, but other ways. Next is just a friendly reminder that we have a new little episode on every week. Hopefully, it's Katie's Corner, and that's part of PAX. It's a weekly entertainment and interview show, and I put the first episode on my channel for you to watch. But I think she'll be on PAX newsletter, and that'll be weekly, and she'll interview people, and it's kind of a light off, something different than targeting all the time. And it's, decided to cheer you up and listen to people's stories on the streets of New Orleans during Mardi Gras, and these different parades are always happening for people. I didn't know you could have your own parade there. That's cool. Anyway, next subject is, I don't know if you watched this, but oh, hey, Whitey. Hello. Everybody is watching the Afroman video where the police raided him. I think it was Clark County or Adams County. And he goes to live from LA to Ohio or whatever and set up shop and has this beautiful house with all these cars in this big garage. And they come there and raid him, saying he was kidnapping someone and had a whole bunch of drugs. And so they busted down the door and busted everything. He got it all on film, and he made a couple songs based on it. And it's Keystone Cops. And one song is, Pay for My Door, and the other one's Mama's Pound Cake. So, lemon pound cake. And so the police are suing him. Now, you think that they would not sue you, but they broke into his house on a iffy warrant and found no kidnapping or drugs. In fact, there wasn't any weed there or drugs. There was a vape pen that someone left, and that's all there was. And medical marijuana is legal there, so what's the big deal? So they messed his house up, and then they unplugged the video. They always unplug the video cameras. Well, that's like what a criminal does. I'm just commenting. I'm not saying the police are criminals. That's criminal behavior. Wouldn't you want to be professional and be recorded? That's bizarre behavior. So he made videos of it, and now the police are suing him. So that's Afroman, and now it's 6:12, and the next is the TI Book Club is now meeting, and if you're in the TI Book Club, listen up. I'm pumping my own book this time, or pimping it. It's called The Dark Cove by DJ Chris. You can do a search on Amazon, or you can go to my author's page on Amazon. If you click on the Targeted Trilogy book or any of the others I have 7 books on Amazon now, 2 fictions and 5 nonfiction books. So check out the TargetedWest EPUBs DJ Chris collection. And today we're talking about The Dark Cove, and that's a sequel to The Hills Have Eyes, where my grandmother starts up a gambling operation in Santa Cruz, California, in an area called the Dark Cove, where the surfers go, and the sun doesn't go in that area, so it's hard to see the waves coming in, and they knock people over and hurt them. So they call it Dark Cove, and that's all made up because it's fiction. I know. And so she has marijuana and moonshine, and then the CIA agent that's a judge gives her LSD, and she, of course, puts it in the cannabis and sells it at her gambling events. And so she buys a yacht and decides to have her gambling operation on a yacht, but the guy she hires, Kyle, is a drag queen and he's straight, by the way, and he has a whole bunch of people that watch his show, so they turn the boat halfway into a drag queen show with gambling and moonshine and cannabis. And then there's 2 cannabises, one's laced and one's the other. But this is a move up from The Hills Have Eyes, which she was putting peyote in people's drinks that were asking too many questions, and they were running off into the woods to be lost for hours. And then they have to sleep it off at her flea-ridden little cabin she kept for people that couldn't drive home. So that's me and my crazy fictional brain. And it has V2K in it and directed energy weapons and the Science College Zaps, Ida Pearl, my grandmother. And this book goes from 1922, and right now I'm at 1965 when UC Santa Cruz opened. And I've had people tell me that UC Santa Cruz had some interaction with Lockheed, and that's actually real, but I included it in the fictional book, and someone said that Lockheed targeted their son, so I put that in there. And, then the hero comes in, and I can't tell you what the hero does because you have to read the book. So again, it's The Dark Cove by DJ Chris or TargetedWest. You just click it in Amazon, or you can go to my website, targetedwest.com, and click on The Hills Have Eyes, and it's got both books listed, and you can buy them on Amazon from there. And then I'll do a third book and then have a paperback version out and then an audiobook, hopefully. So we'll see what happens on that. Again, that's a TI book club. I'm going to turn the page over. Here's my topics. So we're going to go see if Chris is here, and I'm going to switch modes, and he wants to talk to us and give him an interview. Okay. Well, we're on. You hit *6 if anybody wants to talk. Chris, if you're here to be interviewed, come on in. If you don't want your phone number listed, hang up now and dial *67 at the beginning, and I'll block your phone number. People are calling, and we have some perp doing some weird stuff to the people who list their numbers and stuff, and names. So be sure to be discreet if you don't want to be harassed by someone. Chris, are you here? I saw him earlier. You hit *6 to speak, Chris, if you're here. Shiloh was going to come by. I don't know if Shiloh's here yet, but we were going to talk about the Restrict Act in just a moment. That's a doozy. That's basically called the Patriot Act, too. So it's now open mic. Anybody want to talk? Come on in.
Hey, how's it going, DJ Chris? It's John M. from the other call.
Hello?
Hello, John M. from the other call. Yeah, I hear you fine and clear. And I hear someone saying hello, restricted.
Oh, this is Chris.
Hey, there you are. How are you?
Yeah, good. I didn't know I had pressed *6 too.
Yeah, no worries. So we were going to interview Chris today real quick, John, and you can ask him a couple of questions. It's an open mic, so it's not going to be a formal interview, but Chris wanted to come on and tell us the story real quick so we can get it on record on archive.org. So, Chris, how are you doing tonight? Come on in.
Not too bad. Just living every day of a TI, I guess. Been having a hard time lately. Heavy targeting, heavy. And, AI systems seem to be so advanced now that I even noticed today that I couldn't tell. Sometimes you can't tell the difference if it's your bot or that they double looped it back, and it's playing the frequency back to you, and your brain doesn't know the difference. But yeah, I was driving today, and then I got a thought that I want to go through a drive-through. I looked to my left about 10 seconds later, and there's a drive-through there. So it's like, was that even my own thought? Or did they double loop it back? But it's hard to tell such a long story in a short time. But yeah, I mean, I deal with all the normal, the electronic stalking and torture.
Are you getting the voices, the V2K2, like I get?
I do sometimes, but not. That hasn't been a big thing for me.
Oh, thank God! It's terrorizing.
I mean, I've had it, but not a lot. But just being hooked up to the thing in general makes you feel different. It makes you feel kind of ill. I can tell that I'm hooked up to it when I'm in the strength of it, depending where you're at can get stronger, but just being hooked up to it and an energy attack is different, I think. Because I've had direct energy attacks that were like, dang, you think it's hot, you had brain damage or something. But, I think there's a difference. But, I do feel so invaded now. Every right that I have, I feel like, has been taken away from me.
When did it start happening for you? Do you have any reference point or interactions with police or something?
I think about 5 years ago, like 2018.
5, okay. Go ahead.
And that's when I started noticing, just feeling fuzzy, the ringing in the ears, short-term memory, like just not feeling like myself, like my normal essence wasn't there anymore. And it was hard to feel like you. Excuse me?
What state are you in?
Ohio.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. But I just didn't feel like myself, but I didn't know what was going on at the time. It just felt different, like something's off. But my targeting, when I noticed it, started when I moved into HUD housing, government housing, and lived there for a while. And then slowly it climbed uphill. But, after it started, mine was always been pretty harsh with, the electronic harassment's always been there, the bird harassment and animal manipulation, whatever, to get them to come towards you and harass you while microwave hearing, and it's loud, and you get all that. But anyway, mine's always been a variety of things, like not just the electronic harassment, but using chemicals on my clothing or messing with my food, putting stuff in my food, anything really. Your car, they try to destroy your vehicles. All these little different things combined, it just puts such a toll on your sensations, that it's almost like an overwhelm. You can't process it. You just can't. So it puts you in a flight or fight mode for sure. And if you're not in a flight or fight mode, you're a psychopath. That's all it's doing. But just the use of chemicals and aerosols, and also appliance manipulation, getting chemicals or aerosols to blow in your space to make you discombobulated, so they can harass you or do whatever whatever their goal is to do to you at that time. But it definitely seems to be running on AI because humans can't do some of the things that I've been experiencing.
It is a lot of AI. And back to the HUD housing, one of the questions my telepathy asks me all the time is, do I have Section 8? That is their big question they ask almost every day.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell them, yes, I do. I say, yes, I do, which I don't. But I'll agree with them. I'll go, yes, I do. And then they ask me, how much is my rent? And I tell them it's $137. And they say, how much is the main rent? And I say, oh, it's $15,000. It's a mansion. And then they start going crazy on me. So I trick them, and I've always lied to the AI, and that's what they're using on you, but they're using directed energy weapons on you, whereas they do V2K to me and very little zapping. Go ahead.
I'm always, I feel like for sure, like people that are targets are definitely hooked to the system at all times, 24 hours a day, all year long. So the potential for them to do something is always there. but the strength of it, I'm trying to think of some other things they do. Oh, just trying to get you into Rex in the last couple of weeks. I've had about 4 or 5 attempts just in the last 4 or 5 weeks. So I don't know if like some targets are, at the beginning stage, or you become a high-profile target once you know so much or whatever. But I've had people walk out in front of me, like want me to hit them. It's like these guys are willing to walk out in front of you, get hit. I'm like, you got to be nuts. But I've had about 4 or 5 of those types of attempts, and one guy did hit me on my birthday. So, I was at a red light, about to turn left, and it was like a mid-size college van. And I looked behind me, and he was stopped. And then all of a sudden, he hit me. So I'm like, he made some bullshit, something about the elevator. I had my foot on the brake, and it went, and it didn't make sense. So, yeah. So that happened on my birthday. And I was going to get my medication, so I think they're trying to stop me from getting my medication or whatever. But, he just straight up hit me. It seemed pretty obvious that it was, he was stopped. So, I mean, I don't know how, like, it's almost like he backed up a little bit and hit me. But it does appear that they know sometimes when you really remember something or not, and those are the times when they try to come in when you leave or when you're out doing something and mess with you because you really didn't remember if you put something in a certain place or did something. So it appears that they know that. No, I thought that was pretty interesting. But I mean, there's just a lot going on, and just with I was calling for AI for a whole AI for 6 months. It's like it's kind of strange to me. It's almost like hopefully he's not a front man trying to play hero. But I mean, I've dealt with it all. I mean, poisoning attacks. I mean, I had one guy that I was rooming with straight up even drug my drink, and then went to the hospital and make sure it wasn't fentanyl or something. But I didn't press charges. But
what is it that you think that that they do that people couldn't do? Because all mine is people. So I'm curious what it is they do. You mentioned earlier some of it people couldn't do. So like it has to
just such sophisticated timing and such a sophistication of timing and action of what is going on in the web of things around you that it's AI driven for sure. And then maybe an instruction is given. But they know, like when you're going to show up in an intersection or something.
Of course.
I mean,
what they do on their phone. They update their phone everywhere I go. Every turn I make, every street I turn down, whether I enter the store or leave the store. So that is people driven for me. Yeah, mine is not AI. That's why I was curious. Thank you.
Mhm.
You're doing really good. Keep going. So, do you have any vehicles with certain colors, or vehicles with one headlight, or people acting weird around you?
Oh yeah. I mean, all of it. I've been through it all, like the color coordination. I mean, wherever I go, sometimes 5, 6 cars pull in right after me. Sometimes they'll get real close to you. Sometimes they won't. I'm a decent-sized guy myself, so not everybody's so brave to get right up on you. But I mean, I've dealt with it all. The planes constantly. I seen a bead. It was like a big bug. It it was a drone, but it was a bug at my aunt's one time. And I could tell that it was a drone. I was trying to hit it with a rock. And and after a while it sped off. But,
They literally have those. Those are legitimate items now.
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah. Yeah, I've seen one, and I mean, I couldn't see it up close, like what the mechanical would look like, but I can tell by the sound it wasn't a regular one. But, yeah, I mean, those are the types of things I deal with, you know. It's like being in internet jail almost, like, you know, like your whole life, it's like is ruined. You know, I mean, everything you try to do, they're trying to counter it. So it's like it is a game theory. I mean, like, that's what it is. It's like, you know, it's nonstop, 24 hours a day.
It is based on the game theory, yes, so that you are correct. And the game theory has been around longer than John Nash. He made it into the hyper game theory. So it's a theorem about how to get someone to do something as quickly as possible. And, you know, it's used in business and military. It's used in military in your case.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
In the
I've
military,
been
technology
lately
is
with
part
those
of the...
looping thoughts.
Oh, go ahead.
You know, with the,
yeah.
Oh, I was just saying I've been doing a lot with those looping thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just keep going over and over and over, and it's like I can stop them sometimes, but like I'll get one once in a while. It's just like, where did I come from? Like, and you literally can't tell the difference. You can't. Like, it's the same thing. One's just artificial, but the brain don't know that. It just takes it as a signal. You know what I'm saying? So, but they're definitely able to seem to read thoughts in real time. You know, it's like I call it brain pattern recognition. Really, I think is what it is, and mixed with AI and biometrics.
Well, it is. Do you mean like the Brain Genome Project, where they're mapping our brains? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Something.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like I try to put it in easy terms for people. Like it's a wireless EEG. You know, it's brain pattern recognition.
Exactly what it is.
Once they figure out the thoughts and all that, they can basically know what you're going to do before you're going to do it, unless you do something out of the ordinary.
Correct. You are correct.
But they do build up it does take a long time to build up a profile, and I've noticing the longer it goes on, the worse it gets, because they've got more data on you every day. So, and with AI driven, it's hard to say what they're able to do. You know, in the hurting environment and animals, manipulating animals. I mean, I go outside and there's always birds chirping loud right next to me. So obviously pushing them over, you know. So, yeah, but that's what I'm doing.
What was your? Did you have go ahead. Did you have a career or a type of thing you did before you got screwed up?
Yeah, I was working HVAC, and I went to school for it. Got through school. I was an honor student, and I started working HVAC, and I lived in Michigan with my brother for a couple of years doing maintenance and HVAC, and then I came back to Ohio and lived with my mom for a while, and I was doing HVAC, and then I think that's when the targeting started. I'm not exactly sure why or how, or if there's somebody that knew us that, you know, had it out for me or what, but it, you know, there does appear to be different levels of the program. I'm not sure whether that's like, if it's something you did or based on something or just based on where you are in the program, like, you know.
It could be anything. Yeah, no one really knows that. It's a big quandary. No one really knows how, why, or when, or who, or how we got in this thing.
Yeah. Well, in Robert Duncan's first book, I forget what it's called, but I was reading, and there's different levels.
The Tame a Demon, I think.
Yeah, something like that. You know, the worst one they have is called Satan. It's like a silent assassination, something. something.
Through amplified
And,
neurons, yeah, Satan, that's right.
Yeah. And I'm not sure. I could be in that one because, like I said, they do more than the electronic harassment, and with using chemicals and aerosols and stuff, and doing stuff that way. That's pretty dangerous. You know, like that's pretty messed up to do to somebody, and especially long term. I mean, I can't even go to the grocery store, fill up my fridge, and unless it's like boxed or closed items, because they'll mess with them, they'll do something to it. So, yeah. But trying to think of what else to talk about.
Do you have any relief? Do you get any relief by any methods or anything you could share with people that has helped you feel better or resist the technology in any way with shielding or even mental shielding? What has worked for you?
I mean, music always helps because that, you know, kind of blocks out, cancels it out a little bit. Meditation, stuff like that, it helps, but it does definitely don't stop it because, you know, you're going to hear what you're going to hear and see what you're going to see. Just doing my normal hobbies that I like to do, no matter what, just go out and do it, even if they come and, you know, they show up. That helps to do things that you were doing before it started, you know, and like a routine too. If you're sitting there wallowing all day and listening to it, that's going to be your life. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and they feed on that, like the thoughts they were thinking and stuff, like they feed on those and make it a reality sometimes, you know. So, you know, I've never had much luck with like any type of shielding. I did buy a few items that were supposed to like shield you from it a little bit, and nothing's ever really worked. Tinfoil, I mean, it works to a point. I think it does cancel out some of the data that they retrieve, maybe, but because it seems like they get mad when you have it on a little bit, or they'll start doing other things, or the remote neuromonitoring. I've had that done to me by people close to me, and that's horrifying to have somebody you live with or somebody close to you to know they're doing it and or deny it to their death. But yeah, I'd just say, like, for right now, like, it's just I just try to get through the day, try not to think too much, and try to do, if I'm thinking about something, I just try to do it, because if you get behind, you know, you're already dealing with all this stuff, and then if your life becomes behind too, then it just gets worse and worse and worse, and then the end will take advantage of you. You can't, like, you know, if you're weak, you're a perfect target. And yeah, they're not happy that I'm even on this call, I'm sure. I hear them driving by in their engines and stuff. So.
That was a good interview. Thank you. Do you know, Chris, that there's the Restrict Act that they're talking about? I don't know if you saw that on my feed on Twitter, but it's an Internet Act, and they're calling it the Patriot Act 2.0, and it could put you in jail for 20 years for using VPN, but I was going to have someone drop by. I'm not sure if Shiloh is here or not, but Shiloh is all. Oh, there you are. I wanted to, Chris, could we go ahead and have Shiloh come in now? And Chris, meet Shiloh. And thank you, Chris, for the interview. Shiloh, what do you think about the Restrict Act? This is the act that is giving people 20 years prison time, but I didn't see that anywhere. What's going on with it? Ladies and gentlemen, Shiloh Taylor, go ahead.
And it looks like, unfortunately, that is in there up to 20 years and $1 million fine for specifically to persons.
For what?
My initial,
is it for doing crime on VPN, or what is that for?
It is so disturbingly broad. I just brushed up on some of the verbiage in here that is very disturbing to me. First of all, it's run through commerce. It gives an appointed position extraordinary powers, and also the president, specifically the executive office, powers to deter, disrupt, prevent, prohibit, investigate, and mitigate, and enforcement of anything that they consider to pose an undue or unacceptable risk to U.S. security. It's super broad terms. It's right off the bat. It's very much feels overreach of government, specifically
so it's like the first one, but we can do everything.
And there is words in here, like I wrote some of these down, that like anything, but it really what the president is allowed to do is to, the president specifically, this Commerce Secretary's appointee, is to refer to the president anybody, specifically any stocks or companies that they think need to be divested. They're basically going in there and giving the president powers to just take over any company that they deem a foreign adversary or a regime. And then the verbiage goes on further. There is the enforcement mechanisms that I'll talk to you about here in a second, but it covers at their discretion information and communications techs, products, and services. People who are, bound by this are, down to, corporations, trust funds, like, the normal things that would be bound to this, but it goes down to groups and subgroups are considered entities in this. So if you have you tell your friend about a VPN service, that's conspiracy in this bill here. This covers any hardware, software, products, and services that deal with data. So it's basically every product, every service, everything under the sun gives the president special permission to divest their company, and then what they do is when they deem these entities, foreign adversaries, then we as persons are bound by this to civil penalties up to $250,000 or 2 times the value of the transaction. The criminal is a person, and the fees on that are a little bit more stiff than the civil. They're up to $1 million in fees and up to 20 years in prison, or both. That also allows civil forfeiture in this, in any manner. So if you used your VPN to do anything, to maybe pay your house payment, to do these other things, that is using they have the right to take your stuff. And so it's extremely disturbing. I was really surprised at the amount of co-sponsors that they have. I think this is important enough to be telling people to contact their congressperson. If you're a congressperson, and surprisingly, my ex-boss is a co-sponsor of this. But there are some people in here that I was not expecting to sign on to this, such as Tammy Baldwin, if anyone lives in her district, John Higginlooper, Ben Ray Lujan, Kristen Gillibrand, Michael Bennett, Martin Heinrich. There's just a lot of Chuck Grassley. Like, Grassley's notoriously been on the side of people in this situation. So again, it's extremely disturbing to me. I feel like I do think it's a distraction bill, and I think it's so far overreaching. But they were going to pass SOPA, and that really, I was working in the House at the time that went through, and I mentioned it on a conference call about, like, people were outraged at this, and then the phone calls started to come in. So I feel like this is enough of an important, it's a distraction or not, there's a lot of people signed on to this that I am surprised at. So that's disturbing in itself. If this passes, this gives them unlimited powers.
And what I talk about on the internet with these calls would be deemed illegal, and I would lose my house and whatever. My goodness, that's just wild.
Yeah, it's really, people say stuff, the Patriot Act and stuff, and before I read it, I just thought, okay, well, maybe that's just, the theater that they do. They got to make it into a big deal. No, it really is disturbing. The language in it, like any product, service, anything at all that deals with data. And then the civil forfeitures is disturbing on that sense because to me, I can't see anything in there that doesn't say they can't take your house because they don't like your show, just exactly like you're talking about.
And that's why I live in a camper.
Unfortunately, they've gotten me down to temporary housing, so.
Yeah, you were mentioning that. That's what they
bad.
do. Chris, what about you? What's your housing?
Actually, I'm in an Airbnb right now, and they're just chasing me around, basically. Yeah, I need to work, but I don't know. It's just I had a full-time job for a year, and I was doing pretty good. The people there, I don't think the place was infiltrated yet, so to speak, but eventually it did get infiltrated, and I eventually quit. And I was moving up in the rank too, but I was working in a kitchen, and so I eventually quit, and now I'm not working. And after it happens so many times, you just get tired of it, But I'm
just doing your Airbnb. So what do you think about this Restrict
I really
Act?
don't. I really am trying to find somewhere. The Restrict Act, I think it's just another same thing as the first one, but so they can go further, and everything's about data.
Yeah.
And they're calling a 6-month pause, or I'm calling for a 6-month pause. So it seems like every piece is like a piece of the puzzle to all of this is connected in a way. And it's just something more that they can do what they want, and they're slowly gonna keep taking more and more and more. And if people don't stand up, pretty soon, it's going to be, an American China here, our own thoughts.
I agree. Safe.
Who could imagine? Our own thoughts aren't safe?
No, they're not. And Shiloh is saying we need to contact our congressman and definitely handle that. Would you agree, Shiloh and Chris?
Yeah, there were some Colorado people on the call last time. Colorado's got more than one person in here. Your senator's on here, too.
Okay.
Higginlooper.
Yeah, Higginlooper and Colorado's on it.
I was going to say, I honestly think a lot of them are either scared, they know what's going on, or some of them get bribed, or some of them do stand up, When they stand up, we need those ones.
They are scared. They're scared for their livelihood. They're scared for, they're just scared people. Most people are cowards.
Yeah. Well, they're like everybody else. Oh, well, I got to protect my family and stuff, but they can't see the bigger picture right now of how this whole thing is going to be just so devastating. So.
Well, they might see
Shiloh,
it.
What do you think we should do to make this? And I'm sorry, HC. Shiloh, so we can wrap it up. You want us to contact our representatives? Is that correct?
Yes, and yes. If you happen to just pull up the bill real quick and look at the co-sponsors, if one of these reps is your rep, definitely contact them. Some of them are senators, of course, if you live in that state, but they really don't care too much. If you're outside of their district, they don't care. You can call the switchboard too, the congressional switchboard, and just make it just have your opinion known. I think it's a little more directed to the people that are sponsors of this. I do know just from in the inner workings, just on there's lots of bills and lots of things going on. SOPA was not, when I talked to the LEDGE director at the time and was sort of like, this is kind of not, a disturbing bill. And he said, oh, it's not supposed to, there's a lot of, sometimes they just don't realize what they're doing. This, however, the way that this is written, I don't see how they can't see this. They're just giving themselves extra power. So, the thing is with these guys, and we all know this, if they're going to vote for it, they're going to vote for it. But again, if it's just like a stupid, like don't understand like really what's going on, and even the ledge director, who's an attorney or whatever, didn't realize the ramifications of what SOPA was going to do, how much power SOPA was going to do. This one is definitely more disturbing. I do think calling them, like overloading the phones with phone calls works.
Whoa, where's that coming from? Oh, keep going.
And again, I do think overloading the phone calls works. When everybody is calling in, they get the message. But again, if they're going to vote for it and they have back end reasons or they have something, you just don't know. I find it to be disturbing. Like I said, I'm surprised at some of the people that signed on to this, especially like Chuck Grassley.
Yeah, and so people in the targeted community understand the correlation between this Restrict Act and us is that we will be in trouble for speaking out about this fourth industrial technology, and they'll shut us down with this act. So this is very bad. Right, Shiloh?
Yeah, they're already going to shut us down.
They're going to try, but they won't.
They always try.
HC, go ahead.
But it's disturbing that it's groups, too. Like, even this call really could be considered a subgroup because we want to discuss it.
Correct.
It's data.
Yeah, we're a study group, exactly.
Yeah.
And what they did with COVID, I don't trust any of these people that are in right now after COVID and what they did.
No. Yeah, it's like it's been infiltrated, the government. Kind of like what it is.
Yeah, I know specifically the remote.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just was saying, I know specifically the Remote Workers Association that I have going, where I'm trying to change the electoral college because I'd like to get rid of these monkeys, and that's an easy way to do it with not a lot of people. But they, have given themselves powers over any organizations like that. Like the technology, when I built this technology, it's going to have more than 1 million users, and so that gives them just ample opportunity. If you have more than 1 million users and they deem you, people who don't want to have you organized. It's just the same thing that they do with squashing the, people who want to unionize.
What about like Twitter and all them, like Facebook and all that?
Oh, they're 100% subject to it all.
Yeah. Google,
and
there's so many of them.
Yeah, the verbiage, I don't see how they couldn't be taking, like, tweets as data.
Yeah, that's what I said. They're like the tech people are wanting a 6-month pause on AI, so there's definitely a reason. What that reason exactly is, I don't know, but, it's
obviously, think the
obviously they're fearing it.
Yeah, and they've been awfully quiet about what's going on in France as well.
Yeah, they have been.
Right.
The French have a history of protesting. We need to learn that.
Stuff.
Yeah, they'll cut their heads off over there.
Yeah. Well, very good. I really don't have many other subjects on the call. Except Laura Ann has a call coming up after us, so be sure to tune in for that. It'll be right after our call, and we'll be here for over another hour. Shiloh, again, thank you, and Chris, thank you. You guys can keep talking if you'd like. This is a great call.
Thank you, and thank you for being on the front end of, I think you really have been doing a really good job on Twitter of, you are the first person. Every time I find something, you are before everyone. Thank you, and what you do.
Thank you. I get up at 6:30 in the morning to look those things. Yeah, I'm on it all day, so thank you for that compliment. I really try to get everything first. Fresh.
Yeah, I appreciate you, too, and I've been watching your show. And I've been wanting to get on something just to get it out there, I think it's important that the people out there that are suffering the most need to speak out. Because either way, it's not going to stop, If you don't say anything, it's not going to stop. Probably get worse, and To me, I don't care what they think. You're telling blah blah blah. I mean, you're taking my brain patterns and decoding them and reading my thoughts. So you're stealing from me. You know.
I agree. Now, on the call, I'm going to put Chris from Ohio. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
The thousands of people know about me. Trust me.
And Shiloh, your Shiloh.com, Taylor.com came up in the chat room, so people will check that out. Again, that's ShilohTaylor.com if you're watching this video on YouTube, BitChute, or archive.
Okay, great. Yes, and thank you.
Thank you. And any update on the letter that we could probably send out with the Restrict Act stuff too? People haven't asked yet, so you still have more time to take care of that. So no stress or worries, please.
Okay, no, the setback that I had where I lost basically most of what I had done was really kind of detrimental, and I haven't been able to. I'm working on it, but I will post it on my website, because what I want to do is I want to post the tool to easily find who your rep is, because it, like I said, it doesn't matter. Like if you're outside of their constituency, they don't care. And so like write to these people, and then the committees, there is like an oversight committee, and there are 2 congressmen from majority and minority that are specific to dealing with complaints. And I think we need to pummel those 2 people with complaints, and not necessarily just write your rep. We need to write these reps in the oversight committee specifically. The thing that's going on with that committee, with the one, it's about Trump. It's not going to help us. We need our own committee. And so we need another church committee. And
Trump acts like he's going to be the savior.
Who's that?
I said Trump acts like he's going to be the savior if he gets elected.
Yeah, he's not. He's part of the show. He's part of the thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, I thought that the whole time. Like, he's probably part of it. Anybody up in that billionaire category is probably part of it too, even like Elon Musk.
He's a Freemason. Trump's a Freemason, of course he is.
Right.
Who is?
Trump's a Freemason.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. He's not.
He admitted it. He was at a table with a couple, and they asked him, and he says, "Yes, I am." And he's given the this triangle thing, handle with the inverted triangle handle. He does that all the time with his hands.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I've
seen
seen
that.
that.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I love their little symbols. Like,
yeah, they right in plain sight. Why? And they put their hand in their coat, the hidden hand. They do that, the hidden hand.
Yeah. And
then they cover the eye, or the circle around the eye, or they have a lot of or keeping their mouth shut. A lot of different signals for the Illuminati Freemasonry that run almost everything too. And they created DC. I mean, your Freemasonry is DC, and the phallic symbol, that big tall thing, is a phallus actually. So that's what that's all about. We got 2 more minutes in the call. We'll go ahead and wrap up this recording. Anybody want to say anything for recording for posterity? Chris, you want to wrap it up, or Shiloh? Either one, go ahead.
Go ahead, Shiloh. Wrap it up.
I'll just letting everybody know I'm working on a different strategy than what we talked about, so I will post it on my website soon. Just stay tuned. I'm sorry I have had so many things in front of me, but stay tuned, because I think pummeling them with the information will get us somewhere, actually.
Yeah.
Very good. And that's ShilohTaylor.com for everyone watching this video and in the audience right now. Thank you for watching this video on YouTube, BitChute, or archive.org. And YouTube is really popping. Hello to my family. They watch. My blood family watches my videos now, which is cool. Don't talk to your family. They're out there looking for you. Think they want to talk to you, but they want to talk to you. And so I don't talk to them much about the targeting, but they see my videos. But anyway, don't lose faith in your family and your friends. They're always there for you, trust me. and through thick and thin, they'll be there for sure. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and my name is DJ Chris. We'll be here back on Sunday the 9th, and I have all new topics for that week, and thank you. I appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and turn the recording off. Thank you very much.